Good morning! Carl Bogar here for Historic Military Impressions, your premier provider of museum quality exhibits that are designed to add value to short-term public events. Well, as you can see in front of me, I have a parachute. Came in yesterday. It came in, I got to meet the daughter of Staff Sergeant Kenneth Munson here from Kenosha, Wisconsin. It was his parachute. The daughter was, the family shared with us that the dad was very proud that he got to keep his parachute. So this one has a white harness for it. The harness is dated August of 1942. And then when we got it, the waist strap was wrapped around the back like this, but it was there to hold the whole parachute back together, and most of your guideline here was off the parachute because it got pulled, and the white string that would run across the outer edge of it here holding all together, it's basically like a kite string, was completely gone. So we were able to see inside of it and see that the parachute had white guidelines, which means it would most likely is a white parachute. And Staff Sergeant Munson served in the 82nd Airborne, and it led us some concerns because Staff Sergeant Munson served during the Korean War, because this appears to be a T5 training parachute, which had been used early World War II while they were in training, and they realized white parachutes made big targets, so they got rid of the white harnesses and they got rid of the white parachutes and made them camouflage. And this one is a T7 camouflage parachute made in 1944. The oldest item on this chute is the harness, being 1942. The youngest item on this chute is the contract number of the parachute itself, being September of 1944. Now, one of the things we did to it was we opted to put it all back together. Instead of using white kite string, which would have been historically more accurate, but would lead to the problems of as we travel around and display it, that somehow it gets broken, and then I have a great big parachute mess to deal with. Because although I am a Marine infantryman, a marksmanship instructor, a machine gunner, only aircraft I ever jumped out of were low and slow over water into the ocean as a military diver. So I didn't want to have a mess that I couldn't put back together. And also with the white kite string, it'd be kind of like taking Porky Pig and putting them into a girdle to try to squeeze them down to a size 0 dress, and I just didn't want to deal with that. So I used the paracord to make it a little bit more safety, a little bit easier for me to get this all back in here. One other weird thing with it is that the line normally would come out of here, whereas this one, it comes off the top shoulder, the right shoulder. Now, like I said, Munson, the other problem with it is that he served during Korea. And by 1950, by Korean War, aircraft were moving a lot quicker, and T-7s even were obsolete because there were several critical failures of the chute. And by 1953, the T-7s would be replaced by T-10s. So, which leaves me, why would a paratrooper in Korea, or the Korean era, be using a T5 style chute? Because the T5 and the T7s looked the same, the chute, the harnesses were different. Instead of this clip here to hold it across the chest, they had a little plunger piece that I'll post a video or picture of it when I edit the video, that would hold them in place. So this is a T7 made in 1944 with the T5 rig made in 1942, used by a paratrooper that served during the 1950s that said it was his parachute that he got to use and is ultimately named to him as well. So my only best estimate is that this parachute was his training parachute that he used in jump school, and for some reason at the end was able to acquire it and keep it his entire life. It will be used for our World War II displays because, like I said, it perfectly configures an early war T5. So the only other piece we need now, because now we have the parachute, we just got the helmet a while back, we had the 42 jump jacket a couple of years ago, we have a nice M43 field jacket that was used by a paratrooper. The only last piece we need is the reserve. Now, here's an example of a reserve, but this is from Vietnam and would have been used and attached to a T-10 parachute. But theoretically, the reserve would clip onto these two D-rings here. And basically now you have a complete parachute, and with the reserve there, it can stand on its own and won't fall over, and I think would make a nice addition to our exhibits and displays for World War II, once I obviously get a correct period reserve. So there you have it. As always, thank you for watching our videos, liking and sharing and subscribing. And if you'd like to leave comments, we encourage you to do so. But for now, this is Carl Bogar signing off for Historic Military Impressions and Kenosha Military Surplus.